today's video, we're going to be talking about Norse mythology, particularly with the 9 worlds or the 9 realms of Norse mythology. It is said that the Norse universe is consist of 9 worlds or 9 realms, which will be successively tackled throughout the video. These worlds or these realms are connected by a great ash tree named Yggdrasil, which runs through the center of the universe. So it's the tree of Yggdrasil that holds everything together. And it is also a tree of wisdom, which was believed to be the tree where Odin hung himself in the pursuit of knowledge. Well, nevertheless, moving forward to the 9 realms of Norse mythology, I will be unraveling the first 2 realms of the Norse universe, which are namely Asgard and Alfheim. Asgard, the realm of the Aesir. In the middle of the world, high up in the sky, is the home of gods and goddesses. So basically, Asgard is the home of gods and goddesses. Now if we try to compare it to the Greek mythology, this is their version of Olympus. Now if this is Asgard and this is Midgard, which will be furtherly discussed in the latter part of the video with my groupmate, there is this Bifrost rainbow that acts as a bridge that connects these 2 worlds. The ruler of Asgard is the chief of Aesir, Odin. Odin is married to Frigg, the queen of the Aesir. Inside the gates of Asgard is Valhalla. It's the place where half who dies in the battle will go for the afterlife, while the other half goes to Fafnir, which is ruled over by the goddess Freya. So moving forward, the next realm is the realm of the bright elves, Alfheim. Alfheim is right next to Asgard in heaven. The light elves are living in here, and they are so beautiful creatures. They are considered as guardian angels. The god Freyr is the ruler of Alfheim. The light elves are minor gods of nature and fertility. They can help or hinder humans in their knowledge of magical powers. The elves are known for inspiring poets in arts and music.
Midgard, home of the humans. The Vikings called the land in which they human beings dwelled Midgard, or Manaheim, home of men. They believed that it was one of the 9 worlds that made up the cosmos of the Norse mythology. It was separated and protected from the rest of the cosmos by a great body of water in which dwelled Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, who would only emerge from his watery depths at the end of the world. The creation of Midgard. According to Norse mythology, Odin, the king of the Norse gods, and his brothers Veli and Ve created Midgard from the body of the first giant Ymir. Ymir, an enormous celestial giant, was busy reproducing the giants and other creatures sprouting from his legs and armpits. The gods were extremely worried about these chaotic forces that Ymir was releasing into the universe, so they decided to kill him. The trio then rolled his body into the center of the universe and used it to construct a new world. His flesh was used to make the land, and his blood the oceans. His bones were mountains, his teeth cliffs, and his hair trees. His brains were scattered over the new world to form clouds. The gods also took Ymir's skull and charged the 4 dwarves with holding it above the world to create the sky. They were named Nordri, Sudri, Ostri, and Vestri, giving the points of the compass their names. The sun, moon, and stars were made from scattered sparks that were caught in the sky. After making the world, Odin and his brothers created mankind, breathing life into an ash tree and an elm tree to create men and women, Ask and Embla. They gave these beings all the things that they would need, but also saw that they would be helpless to protect themselves within the universe. So, they fenced Midgard off from the rest of the universe using the arrows of Ymir. But they made sure that they would be able to access the world to protect it by connecting it to Asgard via the Rainbow Bifrost Bridge. For men, Midgard is the only one of the Norse worlds that is fully visible. The other realms intersect with theirs and may be partially visible at times, but are largely invisible and only known through oral traditions passed down across the generations.
Nidavellir. In Old Norse literature, the home of the dwarves is called Nidavellir, which means low fields or dark fields. It is otherwise known as Svartalfheim, which means the homeland of the Black Elves. The realm of Nidavellir or Svartalfheim was below Midgard, deep in the earth, and the home of the dwarves who toiled there at their forges. It is a dark, smoky place, lit only by the fires from the forge and the torches on the walls. The gods seem to have decreed the realm of the dwarves based on their origin as given by Snorri. Next, the gods took their places on their thrones. They issued their judgments and remembered where the dwarves had come to life in the soil under the earth, like maggots in flesh. The dwarves emerged first, finding life in Ymir's flesh. They were maggots at that time, but by a decision of the gods, they acquired human understanding and assumed the likeness of men, living in the earth and the rocks. The dwarves were associated with craftsmanship and magic. They created Thor's hammer and Odin's spear, and as well as the god-Frey's magic ship, which can be folded up and carried in his pocket. They are also responsible for the beat of poetry which Odin steals from the giants and give to the gods, who then inspire poets through drink to create their verse.
Jotunheim, the home of the giants. They are the sworn enemies of the Aesir. Jotunheim consists mostly of rocks, wilderness, and dense forest, and it lies in the snowy regions of the outermost shore of the ocean. Because of this, the giants live mostly of the fish from the rivers and the animals from the forest. It is located near Asgard and Midgard. The giants and the Aesir are constantly fighting, but it also happens from time to time that love affairs will occur. Odin, Thor, and other few had lovers who were giants. Loki also came from Jotunheim, but he was accepted by the Aesir and lived in Asgard until he was punished. Jotunheim is separated from Asgard by the river Iving, which never freezes over.
The last realm in the line is the home of the Vanir gods, Vanaheim. The Vanir gods is an old branch of gods who are masters of sorcery and magic. They are also widely acknowledged for their talent to predict the future. So they are like fortune or future teller gods. They were also the one who foresaw the coming of the Ragnarok. Nobody knows where exactly the land of Vanaheim is located, or even how it looks like. No descriptions were given, but it is assumed to be a fertile and pleasant realm of magic and light. At the end of the Aesir and Vanir War, the three Vanir, Njord, Freyr, and Freya moved to Asgard as a token of peace.
Good day, I am Joel J. Sombrero, and I will be discussing one of the 9 realms in Norse mythology. My topic is all about Niflheim, the realm of fog and mist. Niflheim means mist home or mist world, and it is the darkest and coldest region of all the realms according to Norse mythology. Niflheim is one of the 2 first realms, and it is placed in the northern region of Ginnungagap. Niflheim is one of the 9 worlds of Norse mythology and a homeland of primordial darkness, cold, mist, and ice. As such, it is the opposite cosmological principle of Muspelheim, the world of fire and heat. The eldest spring in the world called Hivilgimir, bubbling, boiling spring. It is located in Niflheim, and it is protected by the huge dragon called Nidhogg. It is said that all cold rivers come from the spring Hivilgimir, and it is said to be the source of the 11 rivers. The spring is the origin of all that is living and the place where every living being will go back. The water from Ilífgar flowed down the mountains to the plains of Ginnungagap, where it solidified to frost and ice, which gradually formed a very dense layer. As the world tree Yggdrasil started to grow, it stretched one of its 3 large roots far into Niflheim and drew water from the spring Hivilgimir.
One of the 9 worlds that form the cosmos Norse mythology was Muspelheim. The realm of fire plays an important role in both the creation of Norse universe and its final destruction at Ragnarok. Muspelheim was the home of fire giants, an old enemy of Aesir gods led by Odin. The Muspelheim, led by the mighty giant Thor, whom the Viking held in awe and fear. Muspel or Muspelheim means realm of fire in Old Norse, and the Vikings believed that it was a realm of fire and brimstone. They describe it as hot and bright, and the condition renders the realm so harsh that it is impassable to those who are not in the realm itself. The Vikings also believed that it was in the south, which makes sense as the Vikings often describe cold worlds as being the north and warm ones in the south. But north also meant downwards and south upwards. The Vikings believed that the 9 worlds that form their cosmos were all nestled somewhere in Yggdrasil, the tree of life. They imagined northern worlds as setting among the roots of the tree and southern worlds as behind its highest branches. Clearly, the Vikings were early advocates of the South Up map movement. This arguments that the map orientation has had a huge impact on how we view the world and international politics. This makes a kind of sense as the beginning of the universe. Niflheim, the world of mist, is described as being in the north, and the Muspelheim, the world of fire, is in the south. These 2 primordial worlds existed alone in Ginnungagap, the gaping abyss. In the middle of the abyss were the eyes of Niflheim and the heat of Muspelheim met. It formed a primordial goop for which the result of creation began. At around the same time, sparks from the Muspelheim also jumped into the sky, creating the sun, moon, and stars. The first entity to emerge from the primordial goop was Ymir, the primordial giant. It was from him that all future giants emerged, springing from his armpits.
The god Odin and his two brothers so feared the number of giants that were emerging from Ymir that they slew the giant and used his body to create some of the other worlds of Norse cosmos, including Midgard and Realm of Fire.
Good morning! I am Kyla Marie A. Banghali and I'm going to be discussing one of the 9 worlds in the Norse mythology, Hell. Hell, sometimes known as Helheim, is a dark, gloomy realm presided by Hel, the daughter of Loki and sister of the Midgard serpent and Fenrir the wolf. When Loki's children were born, Odin knew they would cause trouble and so sought to place each one where it would do the least harm. He placed the Midgard serpent in the seas which surround the world, had Fenrir chained up, and drew Hel into a dark realm beneath the roots of Yggdrasil. This realm was then surrounded by a wall with only one gate and could only be reached by traveling downhill on a long path known as Helveg and crossing a dangerous river of weapons.